All right, let's get started. I'm John Renton with my review of NXT Takeover Stand Delivered Night 2. Night 1 was the superior event. Night 2 had its moments. But that main event had no business going 40 minutes because it was like Kota Ibushi versus Jay White in the Tokyo Dome, which was stretched out way too goddamn long, and making the match longer just for the sake of it does not automatically make it a superior 5 to 6 to 7 star classic. Those are my takes, and I'm sticking to them. But let me know your thoughts on that, because I'm pretty certain that I will be on an island here. So, Joe interviews Cross and Balor, and talks to Cross about his injury and having to relinquish the title and build back up to, gain this shot at Balor. And then when he talks to Balor, he talks about their history at TakeOver and only, one blemish, when he beat him at TakeOver at the end. I actually totally forgot that Joe beat him there, because by that point, I had checked out of the goddamn feud. And then we get a promo from Ember and Shotz, who are really talented performers and actually do have some good personalities. This was very stagey. Breezango were dressed as pirates. I hate Drake and Dane's theme, which I think is the point. And they had a number 1 contenders match, which proves that the tag division doesn't have a lot of depth. Boy, Birch cannot come back from injury soon enough. Him and Lorcan can tear it up. Please bring some other teams in there. Fuck, bring Everrise in. I mean, they are at least fine. Where's Everrise been, by the way? And Drake and Dane win, and life goes on dull as before. Joe then interviews O'Reilly and Cole about the unsanctioned match coming up. And then Poppy does a song that I swear was straight out of Josie and the Pussycats. 6 whole hours and 5 long days. And if you get that reference, boy, you are a deep-cut movie fan like I am. And then does some European death metal club song. She's unique. She's very unique. I'm not totally sure how to feel about her music, but it's certainly not dull, I will say that. And then we have Santos Escobar versus Jordan Devlin, ladder match for the Unified Cruiserweight Championship. I will say right now that while this was a good match, I appreciated how they used some psychology when it came to the ladder spots. They didn't just automatically go out there 100 miles an hour. They built to some of these spots, and that was nice. I didn't have really much of a reason to care about this feud, and I wasn't totally checked in, but I wasn't checked out. I appreciated the sport. And the fact that Santos did, he did a really cool dive at one point, setting Devlin into the ladder. It was obvious that Escobar was going to win. There was only one moment where I'm like, oh shit, they're actually going to give it to Devlin. That would be a really bad idea, because Escobar would be the better, representation of the Cruiserweight division. Even if he's going to lose a title, say in a couple weeks, or maybe by the next TakeOver, at least it will be, he's somebody that you can build on and build up a proper contender. Swerve or somebody. Watch him lose to Leon Ruff. I mean, that would be funny. As talented as Leon Ruff is, that would be pretty funny. At one point, he, after trying to do a double underhook, he lands on a ladder and just says, "Ay caramba," and I just could not help but think, and he says a bunch of other stuff, but I just couldn't help but think of Bart Simpson, because I'm just a Simpsons nerd, especially old school Simpsons. When the show was good, when it hadn't been going on for about 35,000 fucking years. Picture perfect moonsault by Devlin. That was a thing of beauty, and it was precise. He hit that great. And then Legoland Phantasm interferes while Mendoza, what happened to, establishing your legacy on your own? Oh no. But he's the heel. It's a clear cut. I guess by that, Devlin was a de facto babyface, but really it was just appreciating 2 guys that were willing to put their body on the line. And Devlin's shoulder was bleeding at one point. We got some blood on this show, but it was inadvertent blood, and it actually did add to it. He got sent through a ladder, and it broke it, and then Santos grabs the titles to win, and then his 9-year-old son was there, along with Wilder Mendoza, and that was cool. That was a cool moment. He got to wear his dad's mask. That was nice. And then we get an MSK interview, and there are stoked to be champions, and they'll stay champions for a while, and they're going to face Drake and Dane. For the love of God, do not have Drake and Dane beat them. Have Dane either go off on his own, join Imperium, or some. I don't know. I don't care. Just have him do something. And by the way, Dane's just suddenly back after apparently being taken out by Imperium, even though there was no evidence of that. Ember and Shotz versus Indy and Candice, women's tag titles. Double Eclipse Senton on Indy for the win. It's not that I don't care about these wrestlers, because Candice is good. Indy is, is a project who I think can, can tap into her potential, so to speak, in the coming years. And Ember and Shotz work well as a team. I didn't care about this match. I didn't really have much of a reason to, but it was what it was. A chance retained. It didn't offend me, but also as far as a TakeOver match, it was nice that the women got to be on a TakeOver, like on this TakeOver, but Raquel and Io had the better match. I mean, obviously. I would argue that Zoe Stark versus Toni Storm on the pre-show for night 1 was better than this. And that's not the fault of, any of the women, regardless of, how their personalities are. I mean, Candice, I think, is kind of bland. All these women can go, and Indy has her ability to, shine. Just something about this just didn't quite bubble up for me. Reed versus Gargano, and Austin Theory was in the corner of Gargano. North American title match. Could Reed overcome the fact that he was exhausted after the gauntlet match from night 1? No, he couldn't. I must say right now that Gargano is really good in the ring. He is really solid. He is actually one of the best wrestlers that they have. He can do all the moves. He can do a lot of great shit. He's also bland. And he can, as far as his work, he can heal it up well. He targeted the ribs, the core. He did some good stuff. But as far as, any personality, I feel that it's really forced by him. I don't buy into it. I thought the Iron Man stuff was goofy. At least I thought it was Iron Man stuff. And Theory is a bit of a goof. I mean, maybe it's punishment for getting himself in a lot of hot water that he may or may not have been guilty of. Time will tell. But I didn't care. The tsunami misses. We get a missed moonsault by Reed. And then we get 2-1 final beats, 1, 2, 3. Theory kept interfering. This match is fine. The North American Championship really hasn't meant anything since Keith Lee had it. That is not Gargano's fault. He is good. He can be a good champion. But he's gotten boring being in NXT. I would put him and Candice up on SmackDown. Maybe that's the work rate show and you could do something, because you need to rotate people in and out of NXT and SmackDown and Raw and stuff like that. They got a deep enough roster, got a deep enough women's division. Rotate some people in and out. At this point, Gargano in NXT is almost a detriment. But yeah, he wins. Life goes on. Big entrances for Cross and Balor. Balor's got some weird, paint on him for some reason. And Scarlett was there at ringside. Boy, was she ever. NXT title, and it was Balor's experience versus Cross's power and emotion. Now, Cross is experienced as far as, wrestling, but Balor, obviously, for the NXT storyline, has more experience. Just like in these big takeovers. Cross has only been in a couple. And this was good stuff. Balor targeted the shoulder, and I believe it was a previously injured shoulder. I'm trying to remember which one he... Actually, no, he might have injured this one, so I actually don't remember. He targeted his shoulder regardless. And he did some liver shots like he did to O'Reilly. This was good storytelling. He's trying to break the guy down. Northern Lights, then into a lariat, and then into a powerbomb by Cross. That was a nice little sequence. Saito suplex, Pele counter, countering the fist. That was pretty... I mean, you can see that coming a mile away, but it was pretty well done. We had 2 shotgun drop kicks. Coup de grace for 2. Oh no, he kicked out. And then straight jacket into a stomp, which was actually really, really nice. And then abdominal stretch by Balor, how he tapped out O'Reilly before. And then Cross, just raining down fists. And then hits Saito suplex. And man, 2 hard fistings from behind will put anybody down, even somebody as sharp as Balor. 1, 2, 3, new champion, Karrion Kross. Good stuff. Good stuff. I can't necessarily say, it was a world beater. I don't think any match on this show will be on my favorite matches of the year list, but I will say that the effort was there, and I'm happy for Kross. And hopefully he can have a reign, as far as a wrestler. I mean, as far as some of the people he hangs out with, Drake, Proud Boy Ref, we don't fucking need him. Yeah, that's really questionable, because it's not about Save the Children. You guys are goddamn jackasses. But anyway, Kross is pretty damn good in the ring. So let's see how he does as champion. Then Santos does a promo. Lego is family. It's a Legato is family. I kid. And he seemed, all happy about it. And good for him. He earned it. And now we can send Devlin back off into the UK. And hopefully maybe he can straighten his life up and stop being an idiot. We get a video package on Cole and O'Reilly, and then backstage walks. There's security all around. Security there, not doing the John Cena thing like that at WrestleMania 25. It's hilarious as that would have been. Would have made sense, but it would have been hilarious. But we get Cole versus O'Reilly, unsanctioned match. Ring announcing everything. The lights go out, and then the lights come back up. Okay, that was a nice little touch. Okay, had this match been about 25 to 30 minutes, I think I would have liked it a whole lot more. And here, I will explain why. Doing psychology stuff and telling the story, and the storytelling they had heading into it, being friends for so goddamn long, from well before they got to WWE. Good stuff. I understand that. That's great. Here's the problem. You can't just keep doing spots where you take forever to do that. Yes, selling the spots, not, just going automatically spot. That's great. They could have cut a couple things out of here, and I don't think it would have been that bad. And also, I understand why they brought the weapons out. Cool. And they utilized some of the weapons pretty well. But then there were points where a tire iron got brought in and other stuff. And I'm getting ahead of myself. But quick start. O'Reilly's goal is to finish Cole as quickly and efficiently as possible. And if you think I can slowly pervert that line and quickly pervert that line, you don't know me very well. Cole does target the neck and back because he had taken out Kyle O'Reilly, hitting a brainbuster on the steps. Not on the apron, though, which is the hardest part of the ring. Harder than the steel steps, despite the fact the steel steps are not technically part of the ring. This is getting messy. O'Reilly comes back with strikes and good kicks. We get a hard fisting into the chair. It's the second hardest fisting I've seen involving two men and a metal object. You don't want to know about the first. Always delete your search history. And then we get literally like a pretty long chain or whatever. That's what I call chain wrestling. Worked hard on that. Really didn't, but I'm just going to roll with it. We get a brain buster on the announcer's table. And then we get a TV smacking O'Reilly right in the face, which proves that Cole loves to monitor the situation. And a tire iron. We get pliers. We get a wrench, throwing the wrench into the plans. Low blows. The referee gets knocked down by Cole, and then he hits Panama Sunrise like, hey, ref, get up. Hey, Cole, maybe you shouldn't have hit the ref. I know that you've probably been hitting the head a few too many times, but come on. Maybe you were having flashbacks to what your girlfriend did, and that terrific lights out match to close AEW Dynamite. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa did some great shit. I will say, as far as unsanctioned lights out, whatever the hell you call it, this was really good. But since it went too long, I can't just say, automatically 5 stars. I will appreciate the effort, and I'm sure both these guys are really fucking sore after they did it. But anyway, we get the Taz Bigelow ramp spot where they go through the obviously, cutaway ramp, portion, which was fine. I mean, hopefully it was cleared enough, like with a bit of a crash pad or something, because laying on that floor couldn't have felt good, and O'Reilly's back was cut up. And then, Cole, has some blood on his hand. I mean, I think even on his shoulder, but I think mainly on his hand, so hopefully he's all right. Brainbuster under the steps, then we get a heel hook. O'Reilly hits the last shot. Cole's move, oh no, just for 2. And then eventually, Cole falls to the chain wrap knee, 1, 2, 3. And then it's 40 minutes, and we get a stretcher job for Cole. Life goes on. This match would have accomplished the same thing in 25 minutes. Maybe 30 at the most. 40, even though it's going to be the last chapter until they do it again in a few months. I think this should be the end. Have O'Reilly build up and beat Cross for the championship. That's just my thoughts. I thought Night 2 had its moments, but I don't think that Night 2 was as great as Night 1. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rethlin. I'll see you soon.